Just a quick note about this episode before we get started. There is tons of footage filmed from this event, so I recommend you watch this on YouTube to get the best sense of what me and my guests are describing as they go through these products. Thank you. Hey, Nick here. So let's see. This is me checking in from Origins. Origins Game Fair is a role-playing board game, just general gaming convention in Columbus, Ohio. This is my third time attending this event. First time was on my own, just seeing what it was like. Second time I actually vended. My wife and I had a booth. So that was kind of us on the other side of things. And this time, I'm kind of in the middle. I don't have a booth, but I am attending a lot of events, learning about a lot of games. And I also was here promoting and demoing and playtesting Propagation Station, a game that my wife and I developed together. So I got a lot of great feedback during a speed pitch session from some of the developers. But I'm also using this as an opportunity to get some more interviews for my podcast and meet some artists who I'd love to have on the show. So just let me take a look at what the schedule has been that I've worked on so far and kind of talk about how things have been. So I arrived Wednesday the 19th, Juneteenth, early ass flight, registered, and the first game I played was Gaslands. So Gaslands is a game that really just exists as a book. It's a set of rules on how to play the game, and it's up to you to make all the components yourself. And the main component is Hot Wheels cars. So you kind of use the templates and the rules in the game and dice and stuff to figure out if your cars are able to shoot the other cars and drive, and you change gears. It's a really fun push your luck mechanic. I've had the book for years, and I just haven't opened it. So it was really great to play that game, and it was a lot of fun. After that, I was able to check into the hotel where I'm talking to you now at the Sonesta in Columbus. Then at night, I got to play the Battlestar Galactica board game. So this is a very popular board game. It has been around for years, and I've also owned a copy of it for years. And so it was nice to actually finally get to play it. And it was not as fun as I thought it would be. It is a very old game, so like things have changed since then. There's a lot of downtime as you wait for your turn, but it has a really cool mechanic of you don't know who's a Cylon, who's not. But I'm just glad I got to play it because now I can confidently sell my copy of the game, which has been out of print for years, so it's worth a good amount of money. So Saturday morning, I then went to the Unpub room. So the Unpub organization is for people who want to play test their games that have not been published. So the Unpub room, you book time in this room, they give you a table, you have your game out, and you just hope people come in wanting to play it. So it was during this session that I got to play my game, Propagation Station, with a very wonderful young lady who was obsessed with plants. She saw that I had posted on Facebook about this, and she was really excited to try it out. She had a wonderful time. We did a 2-player game in 1 hour, and my main concern with the game was that I felt like it was taking a little bit long. And it was wonderful that we finished that game in 1 hour, so that kind of helped assuage that. After that, I got to play Vagrant Song. Again, a game that I bought 2 years ago at Origins when it first came out, and haven't been able to play it yet. Beautiful art style. It is kind of like early 1930s cartoon style. Everyone plays vagrants who are riding the rails, but you all accidentally end up on a ghost train, and you have to kind of use a little map to move around, fighting, battling the bosses who are haunting this train. When that ended, I went over to speed pitching. So there's an event I signed up for where people who have developed their games can submit their idea and If you get chosen, you get to be in basically like a speed dating scenario. You set up your game at a table. This is all organized by the Unpub people, and publishers will rotate around the room every 10 minutes, and you get to pitch your game to them to see if anyone wants to publish it. Now, I was always planning on bringing this to Kickstarter, like all my other projects, but I figured, why not? I'll apply, see if any publishers are interested. And I got accepted. Out of 112 games, they picked 12 people to participate in the speed pitching session. And so I was super nervous, but it was a really wild experience. The whole thing was a blur. The number one feedback I got from publishers was that the game seemed too long for what you're doing, for the level of complexity, because it's not a very complex game. You should be finishing a lot sooner. So that's something that I definitely want to investigate with more playtesting and see if ways that we can shorten the duration of the game. But everyone I've played with doesn't mind the duration because they have fun doing it. But that being said, fun does not equal to marketable. So people who look at that kind of game, and when you're describing that kind of game, you want to be able to tell them that they'll be able to finish a 2-player game in 45 minutes, 4-player game in an hour and a half. So definitely need to rethink that as far as making it more of a marketable game. So that brings me to this morning, Friday morning. First game I played was Jewel of the Nile. Now, I signed up for this event because I was really hoping it'd be based on the movie with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, because I love Jewel of the Nile and I love Romancing the Stone. Turns out it is not. It is a role-playing game that uses a system called Torg. And it is the most complex role-playing game system ever. You use tokens, you use dice, you use cards, you do a ridiculous amount of counting things. So every time you say you want to do an action, it's about 3 to 4 minutes before you find out if that thing was successful and to what level. I did not have fun at all playing this game, but I didn't want to be rude, so I sat there for the 4 hours and kept playing it. So don't come at me if you're a fan of the Torg role-playing game system. And then just walked around the hall after that. I did a lot of great interviews with artists and creators who are selling things at this convention, so I'll be cutting to that towards the end of this. But I just came back from the Secret Cabal meetup. Secret Cabal is a podcast that I'm a huge fan of. I've been listening to for over 10 years. And they do a meetup at Origins Board Game Convention every year. So I was really excited to be a part of that for the first time. I met the people on the podcast, met a bunch of listeners, had a really good time there. And so tomorrow, I have some more things on my list that I'm really excited to check out. So what I'm going to do is cut to some of the interviews I've done with artists so far. And when I come back to you, it will be a few days later letting you know how those events went. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in a day or two. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name's Tyler Stratton. I'm part of Limitron. We make pirate role-playing games. My brother is Luke Stratton, the creator and artist, and one-stop shop for this lovely game called Pirate Board. It is a rules-light, scurvy-ridden, undead-infested pirate role-playing game set in an undead-infested pirate Caribbean. Yep. It's got full naval combat rules in it, and 100 monsters, 120 roll tables, complete adventure in the back, and these are all the rules you need to play all in one spot. We've got adventures and reference cards and character sheet pads, and a lot of the stuff is available on our website as well for free, and we have 5th edition conversions for our monsters and naval combat rules as well, if people want to play in this setting, but in the D&D 5e sort of market area. I like to show off our cool ships from tabletop things and different miniatures, show different ways that you can play the game. You can play 100% theater of the mind, or you can go full miniatures, hex grids, water mats, the whole 9 yards. As complicated as you want it to be, or as simple as you want it to be.
David Wong, out of Orange County, California. Brick by Brick Design, or Art of David Wong.
Cool. How long have you been doing this?
37 years.
Okay.
God, I'm old. I feel old.
What's your newest piece?
My newest piece is Monster Island. I'm still working on it right now, but it's not finished yet.
And what's your favorite piece?
My favorite piece? Oh my God. I had fun in doing most of the Godzillas, but I'm a big Rodan fan.
Okay.
But the Mecha Godzilla came out better than I expected.
Awesome.
And the dragon is my first digital piece ever. And I
Okay.
did that 2 years ago.
Nice. And you primarily work with markers?
Yes, but now I'm a digital person, so I work in conjunction with it. So I paint everything traditionally, I draw everything traditionally, then I scan it, and then I put it in Procreate and clean it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And where can people find you?
artofdavidwong.com.
right.
There's my website, there's my Instagram, and there's my Facebook.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Anadia Chan. I am a professional artist. I've been doing Comic Cons and other nerdy events for about 7 or 8 years now. Anything you want to ask?
So, why do you specifically pick out Origins across all the other events?
Yeah, so this is my first time here actually. I've never done this show before, and I'm actually from Oregon, so I flew a long way to get here. But I've heard the name around, and I'm actually a huge gamer. I love, tabletop gaming and video games and all kinds of games. And so this show really stood out to me, and it seemed like it would be a really fun one to do and check out. And so I'm here, yeah.
So, which product line would you say has been your most financially successful?
It's really hard to say because every show is different. For this show, my fans have been doing really well. They're kind of a newer product for me. I'm trying them out. It makes sense because Columbus seems to be pretty hot and humid this weekend.
Yeah.
But overall, I think everything it's kind of a mixed bag. I do really well with everything I've got out. So.
Great. And where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram. I've got a website. I've got an Etsy store. Instagram is Anadia Chan. My website is Anadia's Creations for Etsy. I've got a shop there. I've got lots of enamel pins. I've got my prints. I've got my fans. A little bit of everything. So.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
My name is Alan Panicle. I'm the artist and writer for Ancient Ones, which is my own creator-owned series.
So, how often have you been doing Origins?
This is my 6th year doing Origins.
Okay. Which of your, product types would you say have been most profitable for you?
Probably the playmats,
Okay.
which are all here in front of you.
These down here?
Yeah, like these guys.
Beautiful.
This is a gaming show, right? So people tend to like the playmats. So.
Do you have minimum order quantities when you get these made that you have to meet, or do you do them kind of in
No, it
smaller
depends on the
batches?
product. Most of my vendors are pretty easy about how many I order.
How's it been so far? It's still pretty early, I guess.
It's Thursday. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's slow but steady here.
Yeah.
I don't expect much to pick up until tomorrow.
And where can people find you?
All my stuff's on ancientones.net. That's my website. And then all my socials are Alan Panicle Art, except TikTok, because someone's squatting on my name. So there, I'm just the real Alan Panicle. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm Savvy Jensen. I paint landscapes.
Okay. So is this your first time vending at Origins?
Yeah, this is my first time here. Yeah,
Okay. How has it met your expectations or been disappointing or?
it's been good so far. It's hard to tell because usually the busiest day is Saturday. So
Yeah.
we're just starting out Friday now, but it seems like it's doing well so far.
Okay.
So fingers crossed.
And what's your method? Digital, I assume?
I'm digital. So
Okay.
I used to be an oil painter, so I kind of house that sort of
Okay.
traditional look.
Awesome. What's your software?
But I use Photoshop.
Photoshop? Wow. Okay. And your device?
So I have a couple of them. I mostly use a Cintiq at home.
Okay.
When I'm traveling, I have a Surface, and then I also like to use the iPad. Here.
Awesome. I use Surface Studio, so
Oh, okay.
I'm a Microsoft kid.
I love the processing power you can get out of your own build.
Yes.
So.
And I mean, I use the Surface Studio, so I'm drawing right on the screen. And I love that I can do video editing and all that stuff on the same device that I'm drawing on.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your most recent piece?
Most recent piece, I'm trying to think. I think I finished Charmander and One Piece around the same time.
Okay.
But I think it was Charmander that's the most recent.
What percentage of your sales would you say are fan art?
I would say the vast majority of them would probably be. I think I have numbers on it. I think it's I sold about 3 to 4 fan art pieces for every one original.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Last question, where can people find you?
SavvyJensenArt.com or just Savvy Jensen Art on all the things. So SAVVYJENSEN.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
So my name is Bill DeVoe. I'm the lead designer, president of Nimue Studios, designed Roundtable, trading card game based on the Arthurian legends and Knights of the Round Table, hence the name. In the game, you recruit knights, you give them equipment and titles, you send them on quests, and you're trying to conquer different regions of Britain. We do actually have some information here on these little mini maps that shows you where exactly these different regions are in England and Wales. Your goal is to capture the most renown from up to 5 regions. So a match is 5 regions. Whoever gets the most renown, which is indicated by the crowns here, wins the game. The idea is that the game takes place over the course of the seasons of a year, and we move around. We have an active player who takes their turn first each season, and then the other player takes their turn after that person is completed with their action. So if we're in spring, for instance, then that's recruiting. That's where we bring cards from our hand into play. We have to pay for everything that is in play all the time, but we have an option where in autumn you could actually bring things from the table back to your hand and then stop paying for them. When we are doing them, you have your lands that you're playing with. We call them domains, and the domains have a progressive system adding resource points to your pool. So you start off with a farm that has 1 point. If you play a manor, you're now adding 2 points, so 3 total. You add a large manor, the next turn you're adding 4 points, which would be 7 total. And then when you get up to castles, you'll have a full run of 25 points. So even Arthur would be a reasonable knight to bring out with 25 resource points. During the summer campaigns, after everyone's done with their spring, we go to summer. That's when we campaign, and we send our knights to attack individual regions. And that's where we are helping. Our knights are helping defend this region against our opponent's knights, but their knights are also helping that region defend against our knights. So we're competing for capturing these regions. We don't attack each other's knights. We don't attack each other, so there's no life points or anything, which is, I think, a neat little dynamic in the game. We also have the ability to play quests. So for instance, if I was here and I have Arthur and attacking Huntington, and you have Jalib attacking there, I could send Jalib on a quest to burn the witch. And since knights love nothing more than to go on quests, he's like, absolutely, let's go burn the witch. And then I am then unimpeded in being able to capture this and get 8 points of renown. So you might decide then, well, wait a second, I don't want him to do that, so I'm going to play our princesses in another region and cancel that quest and get him back on track so that he can come up here and keep me from capturing that particular region. The benefit of completing quests, though, because there's a reward when you complete a quest, is that you get to draw a number of cards equal to the points that were spent to play it. So if I had to spend 5 points to play this card, the controller gets to draw 5 cards when that knight completes the quest. So sometimes it might make sense to actually give up a region to get the cards to replenish your hand. Quests and redirects can be played on either side of the board, so you can play them on your knights to draw cards from your deck, or they can be used to draw cards, or they can be used to disable knights so that they can't participate in campaigning. During autumn, we resolve everything. We figure out, did anybody get captured? If they do, for instance, let's say this one, then we just simply replace that with a new region. When all 5 regions are captured, we figure out who has the most renown. The other end game condition is if one player needs to draw a card and they're unable to, that ends the game. But again, we just figure out who has the most renown and they win.
Very cool. How long have you been working on the game?
I've been working on the game for about 10 years, and the last 2 sort of finally got that team coalesced together to bring it to fruition. So it took a while. It is out now. We just published in March officially, so it's available on our website, available here at Origins, and not at Gen Con. We don't have a booth. But people can order from our website or just roundtabletcg.com or square.site, sorry.
So did you do crowdfunding or did you just go directly to a manufacturer?
Excellent question. We did crowdfunding. We did a Kickstarter last August during Gen Con, and then we barely escaped over the line, but we got it. and then spent much of the fall and winter tweaking the game, taking in the feedback that we got from the first exposure playtest hall, which I thought was really important. We got some really good feedback from that, and made a ton of changes. Sent it to the printers, got it back in the end of February.
Awesome.
And then fulfilled our backers, and then we launched on March 9th.
Okay. And then how does it feel to be able to just start selling stock now? Stressful or a relief?
A little of both. I mean, I'm happy that we can.
Yeah.
By the same token, it's I think our main hurdle is awareness. So we just need people to be aware of the game and to know that it's out there and understand the sort of unique mechanics and what makes it different. It's a very balanced game. We're trying to make it so that it solves some of the traditional TCG problems. The good thing about our decks is that they're playable from the box, which is a huge problem with a lot of TCGs. This is like one box worth of cards. So you get the cards that you need to be able to play the game, and you get a good blend of all of the different types of cards that you need to be successful with your deck. Would it be a competitive deck? Probably not out of the box. Is it playable? Absolutely. So there's nothing else required for it. Even the metal turnkeeper isn't necessary. The box comes with this card turnkeeper, and it comes with a rules card that just kind of goes through the rules for each season, like what you can do. And then on the back is just a link, a QR code to the website that has all of the game rules with a lot more detailed instruction on it.
So where can people go to buy a copy?
They can go to roundtabletcg.com. There's a link on that page. They'll take them to the Square site, or it's roundtabletcg.square.site, but that's a hard one.
And what's the MSRP for the starting deck?
Great question. This is $24.95 for 72 cards. Again, 45 main cards, 5 regions, 20 domains, and 2 rules cards. The treasure packs are 18 cards, so 15 main cards and 3 regions, and that's $6.95.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello there. My name is Ian Moss, and this is Ian Moss Creative.
So tell me about your technique, I guess process rather.
Yeah, so I work in multiple medias. I'm a traditional painter and digital painter. So I have everything from acrylic and oil paintings here to digital hand-painted pieces. So I work on a Wacom Cintiq. It's a computer monitor that you can draw on. So everything I do is still completely hand-done. I've been doing this 20 years professionally, not necessarily at cons, but I've been a commercial artist for 20 years. But yeah, I'll start with a sketch, then I'll usually move to some kind of underpainting, and then from there I'll finish it out. But it takes anywhere from 20 hours to 120 hours, depending on the artwork.
So what's your software?
So that's where it gets sticky, right? We all know Adobe just launched their new TOS BS.
Yes.
I'm sure we all heard about that on the market.
Yeah.
For a long time, for all my career, I've been using Adobe. I am no longer using Adobe because Adobe, you suck. I have moved away.
I saw the government just sued them.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm so happy. They didn't sue them because of the TOS AI stuff, though. They sued them because of their cancellation policies.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping another suit comes along because of the TOS crap they tried to pull. Anyways, outside of that, I now have switched to Rebel, and that's what I am painting in. I'm painting in Rebel 7 Pro, and then I'm also switched to the Affinity Suite for all my design software. I'm using Capture One for my photography, and I'll probably move on to DaVinci for my video software.
Okay.
So,
I use Q-Image One for photography printing.
okay.
I'm still in the Adobe Suite for Lightroom and editing, but I paint with Clip Studio Paint.
Okay, yes, and I have tried Clip Studio. I tend to work very, very big because I'm going to do large prints with most of my stuff.
Yeah.
So the smallest most of my paintings are at this point are about 24 by 36 or 36 by 36, but you're talking about go all the way up to 50 inches.
Yeah.
What 300 DPI, some programs don't handle that so well, and Clip Studio doesn't like traditional feeling brushes, so when you go to paint, it like tick, 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 tick. Rebel, on the other hand, full speed, like as I'm painting and drawing with it, very responsive, feels like traditional media. So I've been very, very happy with that.
Well, I've always found that Clip Studio Paint on my machine works way better than Photoshop ever does for painting.
Yes.
Photoshop is laggy as hell when it comes to digital painting.
So-
from my software, my experience.
I have a powerhouse machine. It was a custom built machine. Like it's near maxed out on everything.
Okay.
We got probably 4K in the machine itself. But I found built-in Clip Studio brushes, that's true, they're faster. But when I imported my heavy textured, natural feeling Photoshop brushes into Clip Studio, it hated them and it would like slow everything way down. But
So I usually work at 1200 DPI.
Okay.
Because I make tarot decks. And so I always like to be able to blow them up to 18 by 12. That's kind of so 18 by 12, 300, but I'm really doing like 4 by 6, 1200 DPI.
Gotcha.
And I've never had any issues with that.
okay.
But
I might have to try it. Right now I'm in the process of just kind of trying every
plus, it's
single
nice too
program.
in Clip Studio Paint, you can create either a raster layer or a vector layer. So you could paint small with all vector strokes and then blow it up when you're done.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. Like I said, because I'm moving away from Adobe, I'm just doing
get it.
everything.
So what is your, I guess, for lack of a better term, product that sells best at events like this?
So I cast a wide net.
Yeah.
And I found that wide net is I have some. The canvases are new, so I mean, at fine art shows, the canvases do decent.
Yeah.
The limited edition G clays were the ones that were moving a lot.
Do you print these yourself, or do you?
So
farm
I
them out?
have 2 different printers I go through for my prints. So I've got limited edition G clays. These are going to be the fine art museum quality prints.
Yeah.
They're not going to fade or yellow over time because it's archival pigment inks on archival paper. This is a 12-head machine process. But then I have another printer who does a cheaper version of a G clay. So these are going to be my really expensive limited edition fine art ones. But these new ones I just introduced, which are starting to pop off pretty well, these are still archival G clays. They're just not as high a quality as the other one. It's a 6-head machine, and there's a little bit of a moire pattern. If you're really close to it, you may or may not be able to see it. So these I get less expensive, so I can sell them for $40 and buy 2 get 1 free.
Nice.
And at this show, I've already probably moved more of these than some of my limited editions at this point.
Sure.
So it just depends. I'm always kind of iterating and trying new products.
Awesome.
But honestly, I make a lot more of my living doing commission work than I do on the shows. But that could change.
All right, so where can people find you?
You can find me at all the socials. It'll be at Ian Moss Creative. I have a website, ianmosscreative.com, shop.ianmosscreative.com, and you can actually watch me live stream my artwork on Twitch. That's right, I actually do it all by hand and none of this crap right here. So if you want to have a great time, mess with me, hear cool stories, and just watch my process, you can ask questions, whatever you want. I'm on Twitch from time to time, but I've been bad about it because of back-to-back shows.
All right, well, thank you so much, Ian. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
I'm Addie Nielsen. I'm the owner and artist for Tangled Earth Arts. I've been making jewelry for about 20 years now, and this is what I do.
So what's your favorite piece to make?
It varies. Right now, I'm really loving the really fancy chainmail necklaces that I'm making here, but I also love my new rings that I'm making.
Are those cast silver?
They're actually, it's called silver metal clay.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, and you bake that in an oven at home, right?
In a kiln. Yeah.
Okay.
So it has to be in a kiln because the oven doesn't quite get up high enough temperature to fuse the silver particles together.
So what has been your best-selling piece this con?
Right now, it's definitely the ear cuffs over here. There's not many to show off anymore because they're almost all gone. But they're a fairly new design, and they're so much fun. They're fun to wear, and they make you feel really pretty.
And how has this con met or not met your expectations so far?
It's been good so far. This is my 3rd year at Origins, and we do consistently well here.
And where can people find you if they want to follow your stuff or buy your things online?
So you can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Tangled Earth Arts, and on there I also post my schedule throughout the year. Next up, I'll be at Wizardly World in Kent, and then later this year I'll be at DragonCon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name's Andrew Heath, and I'm a graphic designer and illustrator.
Awesome. So looking at your stuff here, what software are you using? How are you starting off?
I'm using Adobe Illustrator, so these are all vector-based pieces.
Wow. So it's Illustrator from start to finish, all the texturing and everything too?
Yep. Sometimes I'll, depending on which piece, like if it's like more organic, I'll draw it out and then put it in Illustrator. But if it's stuff that's a little more geometric, shape-based, I'll do it all in Illustrator.
Very cool. Do you do, is it like all fan art, or do you also have originals you do?
I do some original stuff, but the bulk of what I do is fan art. I like pop culture art.
Oh, there you go, pop culture.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just like super into all like the video games and
gotcha.
movies, so that's kind of really what I like focus on.
So you enjoy doing that stuff rather than feeling obligated to it?
Love it, yeah.
Okay. And so how many cons or events like this would you say you do per year?
I usually do about 25 to 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say is your newest piece, and which one would you say is your favorite piece?
My newest piece. So the way that I release things is I do them in batches. So like when I start off a new year, like a new tour, I'll always have like some new work. So some of my newer ones are like the Totoro, the Baymax, Bob's Burgers, Star Trek. But my favorite piece, my all-time favorite piece, is this Mayor McCheese piece here. Because
Awesome.
I'm really into burgers. That's my logo. It's like a burger skull, but I love how that turned out.
And how do you go about ordering prints?
Ordering? You can order my prints from my website, which is www.andrew-heath.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
I'm Jay. I'm run Pour Over Gaming, and I make handmade resin dice.
So tell me about the process. Are you using Smooth-On resin or a different brand?
Yeah, I use a bunch of different brands of resin depending on what I'm kind of feeling throughout the day, and what might be best suited for the design I'm working on.
So do you only do dice, or do you do other resin things?
Dice is kind of the main thing right now. I do have a couple other things I've been kind of tinkering with, but for right now it's just dice for tabletop role-playing games.
How'd you come up with the coffee theme?
Coffee has always been a big part of my life. My grandmother is very Finnish and has introduced me to coffee at a very young age. I've been drinking coffee since I've been about 9 or so, and it's just been a thing I've grown up with and have grown to love over the years.
Is this your first time at Origins?
It is my first time at Origins.
Has it met your expectations, exceeded, fallen short so far? Or what expectations did you even have going in?
So this is our first really big con. So we didn't really know what to expect. So we decided that having the lowest expectations possible would probably be best, and so far it's exceeded. I've been able to engage with a bunch of people about dice, a bunch of different artists, as well as a surprising number of people about coffee. So that's been super fun.
And so where can people find you and your stuff online?
If www.pourovergaming.com should get you to our card with all of our socials. But if on any social platform, we're at pourovergaming.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
You go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jared.
I'm Jordan.
So what was your favorite game you played so far?
Stuff. I played Wandering Towers for the first time.
Okay.
Wandering Towers, I really liked it. It was pretty cool. So probably my favorite so far.
What about you?
We played Kilotar.
Or
Scott.
Wait, no, I can't remember.
the keyboard game.
Guy. Why can we not remember the name?
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And a good little twist on trick taking.
Any games you didn't like?
Not so far. No.
Yeah. I think we played Sandbag, and I think we just had a rough first play of it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say it was a bad experience at all. So, yeah.
I spent 4 hours playing a horrible role-playing game, and I just didn't want to be rude and leave. So.
That happens sometimes.
Is this your first time at Origins?
This is my third year.
This is my second.
What about for the meetup? First time doing this?
First time for that.
First time.
My name's Caleb.
And I'm Ryan.
this I assume not your first time at Origins?
My 4th time at Origins.
Second year.
Okay, and how many times have you been to this meetup?
First time.
This is the first time in a while, so yeah.
Well, yeah, this is probably my 3rd time.
You've been there once.
We went to
before.
Gen Con, what was
Yeah.
it, like 2018?
I went to 2 Gen Con meetups, and this is my first Origin meetup.
So which merch booth are you working?
Origins. The Origins merch booth. Yep.
Awesome. So how would you say, I guess, are you employees of Origins?
Volunteers.
Volunteers, okay. Do you also volunteer at other conventions?
I have volunteered for Asmo Day before at Gen Con.
Yeah.
You haven't volunteered
nowhere else.
yeah.
Have you played any games that were new to you that you really liked, that got you excited?
This year?
Yeah.
Honestly, the only game I've played is X-Men Insurrection, which, I mean, it's an older one, but it's kind of like Elder Sign.
Okay.
But
so you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
All right, so I am now back from Origins, back home in St. Petersburg, Florida. So hopefully you've enjoyed some of those interviews I've played for you. I'm going to go over what I did for the rest of the scheduled trip, and I'll do a little show and tell of some of the things I picked up. So let's see, I last left you when I went to the meetup for the Secret Cabal Gaming podcast, which was a lovely time on Friday night. So Saturday morning, I was able to play in the Great British Bake Off role-playing game. This was a really, really fun time, probably the most fun I had in a game throughout the whole weekend. It was a homebrew system. I forgot the creator's name, but I connected with him on Instagram afterwards to try and help him get this into something published. But it was really fun. It's a very simple role-playing game. Each person created a character who was competing on the show, and we all had 3 stats. So there was creativity, expertise, and experience. No, it was experience. Creativity, experience, and Britishness. And anytime you had 3 failures in a row, you'd have to roll for Britishness to see how good you are at hiding your emotions. It was really fun, just kind of improving recipes at the top of our mind. After that, I had lunch at the North Market, which, if you've ever been to Columbus, you know it's an amazing food hall with some of the best food. I was very excited to revisit that Polish counter, Hubert's Polish Deli, amazing food. And then around 1 p.m., I got to play Planted, which is a game that's at Target and Walmart. It's easy to find game, but I hadn't played it before. And because my wife and I have been developing our plant-themed game, I wanted to see what other plant games are out there, so I signed up for this. It's a very cute game. The theme doesn't really seem like it's actually part of the like the development of the game. It's almost like we could have rethemed it as anything else. But the way it works is you are drafting cards, which you then trade in for tokens like water, sunlight, or plant food. And then those tokens, you're matching sets in order to grow your plants. It was a fun game. It played very quickly, like 45 minutes. And I think that is kind of the reason why some of the publishers thought that our game felt a little long, because the plant games that are out there are much shorter, like that one. So you're definitely going to be comparing it to similar themed games. But that was fun. 3 p.m., I played Fresco over at the Queen Games area of the show floor. Fresco's been around for a long time, and I'd heard really good things about it, so I wanted to give it a try. But one thing that's really fun is the first thing you do each round is choose what time you want your meeple, your character, to wake up. The earlier you wake up, the more choice you have over what your character can do, but then your character gets sad, and if you get too sad, you lose workers. If you wake up later, you get happy, and then that can give you extra workers. You also get to pay way less for paint, because the game's all about collecting paint from the market, mixing paint, and then combining sets of paint to fulfill orders needed to paint a fresco at the local church. Very cute game. After Fresco, I just walked around for a bit, revisited some of the booths that I was curious about from the first time I was walking around. Picked up some more games. I got to play Crokinole. There's a beautiful Crokinole display of like some company that makes Crokinole boards. Just had tons of tables out for people to play. I'd never played it before, but it's a really cute little game where you're flicking pucks to try and get them in holes. So that was super fun. Then 8 p.m. I went to the stand-up comedy show. Saw 3 amazing comics, all telling jokes about board games and being a nerd culture. So that was really cool. And then finally, Sunday, was very late start, just relaxed in the hotel, and then went over to the airport pretty early to work on editing videos. So I've got like the whole first half of this thing edited at this point. So let's go ahead and show you what I picked up. So first off, Pour Over Gaming is a company makes their own dice, and I just loved the whole coffee theme for these dice. So I bought some beautiful ones. This here is a 20-sided die. Just love the coffee theme on all of it. Then I bought another set of dice from them too, also in this pouch. There was a creator named Tyler Crumring, had these really cool mini role-playing games. I bought these 3 tiny little books. I'm excited to give these things a try. Then I spent a couple of bucks over at the what's it called? Indie Toys and Games. I don't remember exactly. It's a small independent role-playing game publisher. They don't actually do the publishing themselves. It seems like they just represent people at convention spaces to help get sales. So I'm going to reach out to them, see if I can get my games in their repertoire. But there's some really cool products there. One of them is a role-playing game called Here We Used to Fly, where you play children visiting a theme park, and then you also play those same characters as adults revisiting the ruins of that theme park. I also got a game from there called Viva La Queer Bar, where you and the other players are creating a queer bar. Moonlight on Roseville Beach, a queer-themed horror game in the 70s, kind of inspired by Fire Island. I picked up Deathmatch Island, which seems to be a role-playing game similar to the idea of the Katniss Everdeen things. I can't remember. It's weird that I can remember her name, but not the names of the books. And then also Series 7 or Battle Royale. Let's see. I picked up Into the Odd, which is a trippy fantasy, weird, surreal role-playing game from Free League Publishing, creators of Morkborg. There was also a creator, I don't remember his name or the name of his company, but he has this horror-themed role-playing game that's designed to look like an old horror magazine like Fangoria, and this cool expansion called The Diner, which is all horror adventures that take place in a 50s diner. And I also picked up from Wet Ink Publishing, Heckin' Good Doggos, a role-playing game where you play dogs who have little adventures around the neighborhood. So that is the role-playing game section. Board game-wise, I picked up Witchy Cakes, where you play witches trying to make the tallest cake. And this one was designed by Michael Hollick, and it was from Mage Hand Press. I think they only had 2 games, so it was a really small business. I picked up Outrun the Bear, which seems to be it's from a company called Around the Stump Games. I just saw it set up in the demo. I'm like, I don't have to ask any questions. I need to buy that. It looks like you're just trying to outrun a big cardboard bear that gets closer and closer each round. Some escape room games called Escape from the Asylum. This was on sale as parts 1 and 2, multiple different characters all trying to escape from the asylums in a different way. And from Imperial Publishing, I picked up Elf Creek Games' reprint of Santa's Workshop, a fun Christmas-themed worker placement game, little elf placement game. And I was excited to get the expansion for one of my favorite games, Honey Buzz. So I had a really fun time. And every time I go to Origins, I feel like I need to take notes on what I should do the same or different next time I'm there. So I think that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. So thank you all so much for taking a few minutes to see what my adventure was at Origins. And I guess next big event that I'll be checking in on is probably going to be QuestCon in Orlando. So after this, we're going to move on to our regular scheduled programming of interviews. I met some really cool people that I definitely want to have back on the show and talk to them more in depth about their journeys and getting their games published. All right, thank you very much, and I'm signing off. Art for Profit's Sake is recorded through Riverside FM, distributed through Spotify for podcasters, and edited on Adobe Audition. The music is provided by Old Romans. If you learned anything useful or found this podcast helpful, please rate and review us 5 stars. If you want to learn more about me or my art, head over to chainassembly.com.
Are you ready to paint your own canvas in the real estate world as a homeowner? It's Leslie Haas from Realty One Group Sunshine, and I'm here to talk home equity, your masterpiece in the housing market. Imagine owning a piece of property that's not just a place to call yours, but also an investment opportunity. It's time to take that brush and start creating equity in your dream home. With interest rates on the verge of dropping, get ahead of the curve and secure your artistic haven before the next rush. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or upgrading your studio, let's sketch out your home ownership dreams together. To learn more, visit tampabayhomesforsale.realestate.